Yes. Okay. So hello everyone. Once again to Study Gen 2.0, the second and last Study Gen, which is about GCP. There are reasons behind it, so I'll talk about it later. But just to introduce myself, I'm Min Hao. I'm the grandfather of the club. Yo! And then surprisingly, I have the great grandfather over there. And then I have the grandmother from somewhere else also. So just so you know, Russell's my the predecessor, so previous GCP boss for Monash, and then we have one all the way from fucking UOW and then Abigail GDSC from Penang. So yeah, two special guests, bikini pressure, I'll sweat, but let's go through this lah. Okay, so about today's content, we'll break into two parts. So the first part is basically just going through the theory side of things. Um, because obviously not everyone knows GCP from scratch. You will need to know about the field first, then you will need to know about GCP. Because GCP is not the only thing that you can use for cloud computing. Then next we will go through a little bit of hands-on. It's a bit different from the Flutter workshop because for this one, Google already has a dedicated course for you all to work on it, in which I'll talk a bit about the benefits of coming here and actually going through the GCP workshop. And this is also quite an initiative that will be published by Google later on in the year lah. Okay, then we have a quiz, free money, and then free dinner. Yes, everything is free. Okay, so without further ado, we'll just jump into cloud computing and GCP's role within the field of cloud computing. So an introduction of cloud computing, right? We always can just use the 5W1H. So in this instance, I'll use what is cloud computing, what is why cloud computing, when do we use cloud computing, and how do we use cloud computing. So a very simple go through. Number one, what is cloud computing? So you are basically using networks and servers to operate on any data. So let's say you want to publish an application, you want to deploy an application, then cloud computing is there for you. So in the past, people have to actually build their own servers, build their own networks in order to kind of so-called deploy their application. But in this day and age, cost of building such a server and such a network is very expensive. So this is where bigger corporate companies, for the sake of smaller companies or even for personal use, they set up this kind of um, I would say, powerhouse for people all over the world to basically be able to deploy their own applications without the need of actually building things from scratch, right? So that is basically cloud computing. But why do you need cloud computing? One of the reasons I mentioned earlier already, which is local computational capacity. So this is essentially the what I was explaining just now, where it's very costly to actually build your own server and everything, and you might not have the expertise for it. So this is where cloud computing comes in. And when you deploy an application, you need it to be alive 24/7. We humans have 9 to 5 working hours, but applications don't need to. And because the application directly reflects your business performance. If you have an application that works 9 to 5, then what happens after 5? If let's say you have an application that uses internationally, then not everybody has a 9 to 5 schedule. So that's why you need cloud computing so that you can keep your application alive 24/7 and it operates on different time zones. When do you use cloud computing? So you basically use cloud computing to host applications or AI models on the cloud. So it complements with why do you want to use cloud computing. So at any point of time where you decide to actually want to publish this live for people to use, at any point of time, that's where you use cloud computing. But how do you use cloud computing? So as I mentioned previously, a lot of companies, a lot of big corporate companies have come up with these cloud computing solutions. These are the platforms that you'll be going for. And one of it, which we will mention today, is GCP, which is the Google Cloud Platform. So the benefits of cloud computing, essentially there's a lot of benefits, but I'll narrow it down to 7. So one is accessibility. You can basically access your dashboard and everything anywhere in the world. So if let's say you need to do something with your deployed application or you need to redeploy everything, you can basically just pop your laptop and then just access it in the cloud. Next is it being centralized. So everything is basically hosted inside the platform. Everything you want to do is inside the platform. It doesn't direct you to anywhere else. It doesn't direct you to any very suspicious website or whatever. Everything is within the cloud console. If you want to do anything, like let's say you want to do APIs or you want to create your own VM instance, so on and so forth, everything is there. You don't need to go anywhere. Price performance. So obviously, running things on the cloud on the industrial scale is not free, definitely. But at the very least, for its performance that it's providing, it's actually very worth it in certain use cases where you are publishing your application live for the audience. So in terms of the price versus performance ratio, it's actually quite worth it when you compare it with building everything on your own. So there's actually like a graph where for us personal users or small scale business owners, when they want to publish an application or they want to publish a model for the audience, the cost of building everything locally is more than the cost of hosting on cloud. But when it comes to corporate companies, that's a different case already. Okay, so the next benefit is performance and availability. So a lot of these big corporate companies, when they open up this cloud computing solution, a lot of times the devices and the hardware that they use to make it available for cloud computing is very in terms of performance, it's very good. And this is also because they want to complement the load of the amount of users that are going to use this cloud solution. So this is why, in terms of these big corporate companies, they have the money and they have the resources to actually build all these server houses, which are very high in performance, and they always make it available to worldwide. And this is why you have zones and regions and whatnot, which we'll go into it later. But this ensures that at any point or at any location that you are at, when you want to try to access a certain resource from a certain region, it is always available for you. Okay. Next, quick deployment. So with current technology on cloud computing or in more general sense, continuous integration and continuous deployment, in short, we call it CI/CD. When it comes to that process, right, cloud computing makes it very easy to deploy, especially when it integrates with a lot of other corporate platforms, for example, GitHub. So whenever you push live into maybe let's say in the developer level or production level, it will automatically allow you to deploy new version to the cloud. So in this day and age, technology is really advanced to the point that you can actually do so by just pushing a live button. Everything just deploys itself on the cloud. But this also brings some very funny problems where you have the GitLab issue where you just one simple push causes the whole company to go haywire for 24 hours. Okay, so that's the sense of quick deployment. I think I kind of redundant it. But anyways, ignore that. Last one, visualization. So this is actually related to how everything is centralized in the platform. Also, it allows you to see everything in the platform. What I mean by that is that because everything is centralized in the platform already, whatever you need to know about your service or about your instance or about what you deploy is all there. So in regards to the performance of your instance, the performance of your engine, everything can be visualized there. They will provide graphs and everything for you. So as a very simple example, if you want to know how well your API is performing, how many API calls it's getting, it will visualize it for you. Okay, so basically this is everything for cloud computing benefits. There are more, but essentially the main points are all here. So if you're considering cloud computing, you can base off your evaluation or analysis based off these benefits. So that's basic cloud computing. Uh, in the realm of cloud computing, there are also a lot of solutions that are out there for you. And one of it is the Google Cloud Platform, which is GCP. So GCP is one of the common platforms for cloud computing. Other familiar ones would be the AWS service and also many other ones. And GCP itself has a lot of features put in one place. The main ones could be API services, compute engine, IAMs, so basically more on the authentication side, SQL, so data management, and also Kubernetes. So there's a lot of features when you access into the cloud console. You can really see a lot of things that are available for you. Okay, and like in recently there's also AI integration in the cloud. GCP also has that, where there's Vertex AI, Duet AI, and so on and so forth. And GCP itself is very business oriented. If you actually look at the website and everything, right, a lot of the things that they do is for the benefit of enabling businesses to perform better. So a lot of the ways that they try to work around with GCP, a lot of times it really benefits businesses a lot. Okay, when it comes to the plans and also the features that they have, everything is very business oriented. And it's because of that that they make certain things slightly easier for you because they want it to be adoptable by businesses. Okay, and lastly, is easily integratable. So what I mean by this, right, is that because Google being Google, they just tie everything into one of your accounts. So if let's say you need in terms of like cross information and stuff like that, you have one Google account for everything. So this doesn't just apply on GCP, but it's just the benefit of Google itself. It's easily integratable. If you use other cloud platforms, sometimes you might need a separate account for it. So in terms of account management, GCP is always the best, or Google itself is always the best because everything is just tied to that one single account. Okay? So basically that's cloud computing and GCP. It's a very brief run through of everything, but what you should know is basically this. Okay? First part done. so so basically we have a mental break for 5 minutes. If you got any questions, you can leave it at the end. So yeah, we'll just have a 5 minute mental break. Then we'll move on to hands-on. So hands-on is basically us going through the cloud skills pools, which I will brief you all later lah. Okay. But in the meantime, if you want to follow whatever the slide is listing, you can just go through this screen. Then once everybody is ready, then we will start doing the hands-on session lah. Okay. So I will give everyone a 5 minute mental break. Okay, anyone who still needs this slide? Anyone? Oh, okay, yeah. Just a curious show of hands, who is participating in this one? Who? No, the hands on. The hands on. I want to explain, I don't know how to explain. You basically just go through the modules inside. Yeah, I'll also go give you like a step by step. Yeah. But it's okay, I just want to know lah. So that if anything troubleshoot can help us. Okay. So let me just stop share. Mm, okay. Just share my. Okay, so if you have gone through the slide just now, you will be accessing a link that will bring you to. Let me just give you the. Okay, so you bring it to this page. So in here, you can just enroll into the first one, which is create and manage cloud resources. Then it will bring you to this page. But before that, it will show you a code. I think I'll just paste the code inside. Yeah, this second. Yeah, I'll just paste the link to the chat, and then I will also paste this. So the one that I pasted, the letter message that I pasted is basically a code that is only applied today. Yeah. Okay. So when you enter this page, right, after you click enroll, it will prompt you for the code. So the code you basically just need to type it in and then you will get access to it already. Okay? So everybody there. Okay, good. Okay, so how do you access this whole Cloud Skill Boost platform? You basically have tab that you can actually go through all the other courses. So I'll explain a little bit more on that later on. But for now, let us just go through 1 to 2 labs. And depending on time, we will see how long. But we'll confirm go through one lab. Okay, so 40 minutes. Okay, I will get to explain things step by step, but you all can actually start working on the whole thing already. Let me just okay. So let me just start lab. So when you start a lab, right, it asks you for credit, if I'm not wrong. Is there a credit that you request? Oh, I think we need sorry, we need to enroll in the course, right? Then you need to sign in. You can just name it the Google account. Okay, so with the credit. I requested. Yeah. So when you enroll in the you will have a certain amount of credits. Then you can actually go through the labs with them. So you can launch with the credit. If anyone, okay, I'll wait for a little bit more because for some I'm trying to access it. Or make sure it's an incognito mode by the way, so that you don't sign out to all Google accounts. Okay. So after you have enrolled into the course, there's a button to start module. You just need to scroll down a little bit more. Then you can start the module already. Then once you start the module, you get to access the modules, and the first one will be creating a virtual machine. Okay. Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, good. Okay. So you can press Start Lab, and then you prompt you to ask for credit. So you can launch with 1 credit, and then we'll start everything. Okay. Alright. So when you start your lab, right, you just need to press Open Google Cloud Console. Okay. Then okay. I already have a few account already. But you can use another account. Then you will just populate the email for you. Then for the password, you just need to copy, and you can just paste it. Then you just click understand. Then you will have a temporary top account. So for every lab in the top skill boost, they will actually give you a temporary account whenever you start a lab. So this lab will last for the amount that they give you, and once the time hits, then it will just disable it for you. So you just change the country to Malaysia, unless you want to be somewhere else, and then you agree to the terms of service. Okay, all right. So from there, you will get to see everything in the console, and you can actually see on the side there's a lot of products and also services that you can actually go through. I have some things pre-configured, so you'll see some of the things on here, but that doesn't matter. So let us jump right into the first first step. Yes. Okay. So everything at the front is kind of just information for your setups and everything, but you don't need to look at that, you can just ignore it. The first thing that you do at every lab is to activate the cloud shell. So to activate the cloud shell, you can go to your uh, top right. Yeah, you can do it at the top right. The second button from the left is an activate cloud shell. So you can just press that, then it will invoke something. Oh yes, okay. So this one you can just continue because it's free. So just give it some time for it to connect to the machine because things take time, just like life. Okay. Then after a few seconds, you will gain access to your cloud shell. Okay. So just to everything else here is optional. You just need to activate your cloud shell because we will use our cloud shell later on. But everything else is optional. You can go through the thing, but we don't want to waste time on that. Okay, so we don't want to waste time on that. So we shall just go into, oh wait, before we go into task one, in terms of the region and zone, we can just copy and just paste it accordingly because you will need to use it later on. And when you run commands for the first time, they will ask you to authorize your cloud shell. Well, you obviously need to authorize unless you have security issues. So you just need to copy and paste the regions and the variables because you need to use it for later.
The Asian, Eastern Asia, right?
You just need to copy following the region. You don't need to specify it so much because it's a lab, so you don't need to be so particular about it. Okay. Alright, so for the first task, right, we're going to create a new instance from the cloud console. So this is one of the very common things that you do when you want to deploy your application is to create instances. So these instances is a virtual machine instance. When you create it, you will get a VM that you could install libraries and everything in it and maybe run your applications according to it. So when you go to your dashboard, okay, you can go to the navigation menu, compute engine VM instances. Okay. Feel free to ignore what I say if you want to just go through the lab, but this is mainly for those that don't know where they're going. Okay. So next you want to create, let me try to find, oh yes, create. Okay, so when you create an instance, you can just follow the requirements here. But essentially, right, when you want to make your own application deployment, these things are all customizable. Okay, just for the sake of this lab, we will just restrict ourselves to whatever they've given. Okay, and then the series E2 machine type will be 2V CPU, which they already give. And the boot disk we can ignore for now. Although it provides a slightly different version of Linux. Yeah, because it asks for Linux 11. But we will just stick within Linux 12. And for firewall, we will allow both HTTP and HTTPS traffic. This will come in handy if you are doing any form of server routing. So later when we touch links, you will understand the theory lah. So the theory behind it is that when you try to access any links that are related to the VM, that if you enable this firewall, you will be able to access those links. If you don't enable this, the firewall will block the routing off. So after everything is okay, you like your VM, you want to adore your VM, you can create. And just just an information, this is not the only way to create your VM, but this is just one of the ways. The other way to create your VM is obviously through the shell, which is more straightforward, but only if you really know what you want in your VM. So after you press create, you just give it some time to just settle down, just try to make it recognize its environment and stuff like that. Wait for the baby to born. Although this baby taking quite some time. Okay, so just let me try to edit this. Can I edit? Can I edit this? I'm allowed to edit, right? Okay, let me edit. Can I edit? No, okay. Never mind. The name should be GCE Lab lah. But it's okay if you have not managed to name your VM. Your VM name is basically this one. So you can just copy and paste. Okay. Next. Okay. So the next thing is to update your OS. So you can just copy the sudo apt-get update here. Then you just give it some time. Okay, so sudo apt-get update for those that don't use Linux is basically a command for you to update your Ubuntu instance. If you use WSL, you are very well familiar with this command because you usually need this to update before you install any new library. Then next, we will only install Nix. Nix is technically speaking a more server hosting kind of platform. So it allows you to do server routing lah. Okay. Then next we just check if things is working. Seems like it. Let us try. Okay, HTTP. If this doesn't work, there is something wrong. Okay, wait. Because okay, this is the problem that I want to explain to you all is that to install the things right in the cloud shell is very different from SSHing into the VM instance and installing things there. So I'm not sure if this actually works. Because if it doesn't work, then you might need to do a little bit different. Okay. Okay. So click SSH. Okay. So let us SSH to this. Okay. So what I did just now, right, is basically I tried to run the Ubuntu commands based off the cloud shell. So the cloud shell, it won't implement any system-wide change. So whatever you install here and everything, right, sometimes it don't work. And because your IP and everything, right, is based off your VM instance instead of the cloud itself. So what I did is actually false demo, which I'm well aware of because I did it. So the proper way is to go to the VM. Okay. It will establish a connection to SSH. So basically making a profile out of the instance. Then you can basically do whatever's done just now. Okay. So just let it run. Okay, done. Then next, you install things. Okay, done. So then let's check if things is running. Okay, everything is there. Then let's see if things work. Seems like it's not. This is the problem when I do this when I did this eh, it should work. Yes. Oh, okay. So because this doesn't use HTTPS, but if you type HTTP, it will actually direct you to links. So yay, you have links. So then you will check your progress. So in the Cloud Skills Boost, right, how they track your progress through the lab is by clicking on check my progress. So when you press it, it will basically scan and see whether if you've actually done whatever they told you to do so. And once it detected that the links didn't exist, it will treat it as assignment completed. So moving on to the next task is to create a new instance with gcloud. So you can actually create instances through the Cloud Shell, which is one of the other ways to create your instances. Just put it here. I'll just give you some time to create. If you want to know what are the parameters that you need in order to create your VM instance, feel free to look at the documentation for it lah. Okay. So here you can see that the thing is already running. Then now we will just need to check your progress. Okay, so just remember creating a VM has two ways. One is through the cloud console, so it will basically be a nicer view and it's easier for you to see what you need and what you don't need. But in the cloud shell, it makes it slightly easier for you so that you don't need to actually go through the things that are unnecessary for you, and you only put in the text that you need for the VM instance. And for some users who are command shell enthusiasts, they'll obviously prefer the shell style one. Because I personally I would like to use shell. Okay, so uh, okay, so basically that's for task 3. And you can also SSH using the cloud command with compute SSH, the VM instance name. So again, a lot of the things that you can do on the cloud console, you can also do on the cloud shell. It really depends down on your preferences. Okay. So task 4 is test your knowledge. So this is a small quiz that is given for almost every lab, and you can actually just repeat it every time. So in this case, is this. So essentially, with that, you have already completed your first lab, which is to create your virtual machine. And once you've completed everything and you see that there's 100 by 100 mark already, you can end your lab. Then everything else you've done for GCP, you can just remove it. Okay? So that's basically how you would actually use the lab, the cloud skills boost, and also how to actually go through your labs. Okay? So let's go back to the slides and just go through the remaining stuff. Okay. Okay. So you've done your first cloud skills course lab, and you've already gone through a little introductory to GCP. Although obviously it's not really what GCP has to offer, but at least it gives you a dirty hands-on into roughly how it looks like, roughly how you will use it, and what are the things that they actually provide in GCP. So just a few notes. You will need to complete the whole course. There's about like 4 modules in the course to receive a free 1 month pass credit. So if you manage to finish everything by today, I think, yeah, by today, you can receive a free 1 month pass credit to take any of the other courses. And although they say it's 45 minutes to an hour, but if you copy everything and just delete everything, it essentially works the same way. So if you want to use that 1 month pass, you can definitely do it in like 30 minutes. Okay? And if you want to view the free pass, you can view it under credits and subscriptions. Just in case if let's say you used up all the pass and just to make sure when it expires. Okay? And this cloud session is technically a preparation for GCP Bole. So GCP Bole is a global initiative by Google to encourage users to use Google Cloud Platform for various usage. So if you actually go through courses and complete them, once you reach a certain number of courses that you've completed, you'll actually be able to receive Stripe from Google itself. So not Google Malaysia, but all the way from Google US. Okay, so I hope this gives kind of like a rough idea of what GCP has to offer, and also let everybody know a bit about cloud computing. So that if at any point of time you're in the industry and they talk to you about cloud computing, talk to you about deployment, all these kind of things, all this kind of jargon, then at least you get to have a visualization of, oh, this is what your manager is roughly asking for, or this is what your colleague is roughly asking for. Although in your university life you might not touch cloud computing that much, but when you develop apps in the future, or when you deploy your models in the future, GCP or just cloud computing in itself will definitely have its role. Okay, because this is one of the more common ways to make your application manageable for the audience without having too much cost when it comes to making your application run 24/7. Okay, so with that, I don't think there's Q&A now. Okay, like everybody's want to eat. But before we eat, we have a quiz. So let me just stop share first. Then I can start now. Do I start now? Or I need to share this one. Is it? Okay. Times one. Then okay, start. Okay. Let me just share this. Okay, can join the quiz. Where's the prize? Oh, okay. The prize is cash, obviously. First place 50 ringgit, second place 30 ringgit, third place 20 ringgit PNG. So yeah, it's free money. Oh, 30, 20, 10. They a bit poor. First place 30, second place 20, third place 10. I should be richer. Okay. So just join the quiz. If there's no one joining, then free money to me. Our com can join, by the way, if you want. Okay, that's one. Yeah. That means it's the highest thing for you. If you lose, then that means I don't know what to say already. Okay. Oh, hey, my mom even different quiz, just nice. Okay, we'll give it some time. We're at this early lah. No need to worry. Hmm? I don't know who put that name. Ba-la-ba-ba. Can I roughly guess who is who? Anyone else? Anyone else want to join? Okay. Anyone that just came you want to join? Free money. Oh, good. Anyone else want to join? Oh yo, who's this unsafe name? Interesting. Fantastic. Okay, haha. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else who's still joining? Anyone else? No one. Still joining? Oh, okay. Okay, good. Okay. To back. Okay. Okay. We start 30, 20, 10 ringgit PNG voucher. Survival show. Okay. This is the part where we relax. Okay, what's the first question? Shit. Oh, what's the full form of GCP? Oh wait. Oh. Okay, okay, okay. I see, I see. So this is literally Hunger Games. Oh, then good lah. Then I just relax. Let's see what's going on. Okay. I see this Benjamin guy is shrinking. Yes. Some questions are very shit posting. Hey, hey. Okay. See two people rushing to finish. Oh. Okay, we can finish. Oh, okay, another finisher. Okay, now everybody finishing already. Okay. Okay. I think I know who is who.
The last question, the girl got hacked.
True lah, true lah. But it's okay if you know the Instagram back then, you will know lah. Yeah, we wait for the remaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5 people lah. You think that? Yeah, two Benjamins here. Then you guess. Oh, maybe lah, maybe. Maybe it's out there just smurfing all the questions up. Oh, okay, okay. We'll wait for FM then. Okay, we'll wait for the last one. Quick, quick. Okay. Okay, I guess that's the. Oh, okay, that's fast. Okay, top three. Okay, let me guess. Wait, let me guess. Okay, I know who is first and second. First is you. And second is Jason. Third place. Fellow feeling over there. Okay, I need to get to have 10 ringgit bucks. Okay, we'll just briefly go through the questions. First question, the one that everybody got correct. What is the full form of GCP? Obviously, it's Google Cloud Platform. And second question, that four got incorrect. Whose birthday was yesterday? I think those who know me will know lah. Yes, it's my birthday, but I wasn't one that put the question. It was some random committee that I won't mention. Okay, next. Which of these is an advantage of cloud storage? So the question to this is quite tricky because some of these are advantages of using the cloud, but not storage. So the correct one it would be to accessible anywhere lah with internet connection. Then user control, the first two is essentially about cloud operation. Then portability is it's not really portability because the cloud is already centralized at the cloud already. So it's not moving anywhere. Just give it a sec. Okay, so um, next, which of these is not benefit to cloud computing is decentralized. Uh, GCP is obviously centralized, okay. Then next, what is GDC? I think this everybody will know. Which tools can be used to manage GCP services? So obviously Google Cloud Console, Google Cloud Task, Google Cloud Deployment Manager. So everything Google Cloud lah, basically. Then next, which GCP services are belonging to compute service category? This one I think is a bit hard because I think only those that actually saw the menu will know lah. But it's essentially compute engine and app engine. Okay, one of the fields that use GCP technology, essentially just all lah. So if you need any type of use case for your application, for your deployment and everything, you can essentially just use GCP. Do you need to complete the whole annual courses in order to get a 1 month free pass on GCP? Yes, without approval, actually. Is GCP free? Some are free, some are paid. So some you will need to actually subscribe to the upgraded plan in order to access more. But this is a bit vague of a term because essentially the payment terms is more on like how many requests they basically like they charge you by request. Okay. How does cloud computing work? This is based off my first slide lah. It allows operation of data on remote servers. Okay. The cloud kind of trips people off, but it's essentially operation of data on remote servers. And then lastly, if you keep track of our timeline, our next event, which is also our last event of GDSD itself, is the TED Talk. Yeah. And outside of GDSD, we also have AI ML user group meetup happening on 35th of April. For those who are up to date with the community building thing, you will know about the nature of the event. So yes, let's see. Okay, So for the top three people, feel free to come forward later and claim your shit. Yes. Okay. To claim your stuff. So basically that is the end of our workshop lah. Photo. Okay, photo. Okay, I shall pause this recording. Actually no, let's just stop recording. So let me just stop recording.